Hello everyone, here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. Party leaders pledge that the government will reopen tomorrow, but another deadline is looming.
Also, we'll take a look at, well, the Patriots and the Eagles. They've done this before. It was back in 2005. We're going to go in the Wayback Machine and show you what that was like. Also, parents and coaches. It's not always harmonious. We'll have a story talking about what could possibly be done to fix the problem.
This is News Center Now.
Let's join together, put the filibuster behind us, and get back to work.
Americans are relieved that the federal government shutdown is almost over, but now both parties have made big promises, and voters are expecting them to deliver on them. Hi, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. Leaders say they have reached a deal to end the shutdown. They say both sides will support what is called a continued resolution. They will fund the government through the first week of February, but they will have to come back to the table before then. Democrats were holding out on a deal, waiting for a plan to save the so-called dreamers, or people who illegally came to the country as children.
As part of today's compromise, Republicans committed to addressing DACA before the resolution ends. But the budget battle certainly isn't over. They have a new deadline now looming, and that is February 8th. So this fix is only temporary.
And this uncertainty can be hard on federal employees, governing agencies, and even financial markets.
On this vote, the yeas are 81. The nays are 18.
During the shutdown, the IRS furloughed more than 55% of its workforce. Even though they were off the job for one workday, time was still lost for implementing new tax laws.
So if you're expecting to see something from the 2017 Tax Act, implementation of that will be delayed.
If lawmakers still struggle to reach common ground in 3 weeks, taking the budget battle into tax season, refunds would not be issued and the IRS would not perform audits. The markets, meanwhile, coming off another record week.
Surprisingly, it's been unaffected. We are up in all the markets that I've seen so far.
Chris Doherty, a principal financial planner, says the longer the government is shut down, the greater the impact is on the U.S. economy.
For every week that we shut down, the GDP is affected by about 0.25%. So if we're shut down for a month, that's 1%.
Maine's Acadia National Park will see some setbacks. With 75 full-time workers furloughed, park officials say the shutdown left important work in limbo. They released a statement that reads in part, quote, Acadia already operates on a razor-thin budget, and to lose core functions for even a few days is a setback for all the work necessary to prepare for the coming year and to operate and protect one of America's busiest and most beloved parks. And once the Senate officially passes this measure, it will go to the House. They are expected to pass this stopgap as well.
But unsurprisingly, many of you were beyond frustrated with the entire process. Mike says our beloved elected officials should resign. Disgusting performance on both sides, he says. And so many of you see this as a Band-Aid, fearing that a repeat of this weekend is going to come back in about 3 weeks. Kevin says we need a long-term budget, and we need it now. So how do we even get to this place in the first place? Well, because budgets are they touch every single area of policy, and they affect so many different people. 1 or 2 problems can hold up everything. And this year, it was DACA. As News Center's Tennyson Coleman tells us, Congress has a history of budget drama, and they often miss their deadlines.
Last week, the federal government shut down for the second time in nearly 5 years. It came after a battle over the budget. But in Congress, passing a budget on time isn't that common.
Rarely does Congress pass very many of these bills on time, and as I say, not since 1996 have they passed all of them on time.
Bowdoin professor of government Andrew Rudalevich says it's been 22 years since Congress has passed a full budget by October 1st. That's the beginning of the fiscal year. A full budget consists of several bills called regular appropriation bills that set aside money for government agencies. Those bills are ideally supposed to be approved before October, after the president submits a budget proposal and Congress comes up with a budget resolution.
They didn't pass the 2017 budget until the spring of 2017, so that ran out on October 1st. Because they had not passed anything as of that date, they then had to pass right now.
Continuing resolutions are meant to be temporary solutions. They provide enough funding to allow government agencies to function as is until time runs out again.
Shutdowns usually happen if there's a big battle over a particular policy.
In 2013, the shutdown came as Congress fought over Obamacare. And in the mid-90s, the issue at hand was spending on Medicaid and Medicare. This year, the battle is over immigration. And as the struggle to approve a full budget continues, members of Congress will have to find a way to compromise. For News Center Maine, I'm Tennyson Coleman.
Both of Maine's senators voted to end the shutdown in the first round of Senate approval and are expected to support the bill later on today.
And they were part of the team in charge of finding a compromise called the Common Sense Coalition. Senator Susan Collins tweeted a picture of the group today, saying this compromise shows the power of the center. She says 25 Republicans, Democrats, and an independent hammered out a deal that could put people back to work.
That one independent is, of course, Senator Angus King. When he was asked about the coalition's work today, he said they don't take credit for solving the problem, but they certainly think it helped.
The whole goal of our meeting was how can we assist and frankly pressure the leadership to get to a resolution. That was our reason for coming together, and so it was serious. It was open. Several people said, particularly some of the newer senators said, this is what I came here for. We got senators sitting around, bipartisan, talking about serious issues. Not a lot of posturing, and so it was serious, workmanlike.
And of course, political posturing is what a lot of you were upset by this weekend. So we want to hear from you. What do you think Congress should do or should have done to avoid shutdowns?
We want you to sound off right now on our Facebook live stream. We want to hear from you, but as always, we would love you to keep it polite.
Pretty please. All right, let's leave Washington behind for a moment and focus on something positive.
Here's something positive. Keith's off today. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Jess Conley's here. Hey, what's up, Jess?
Hey, you said it, not me. Right now, we're seeing clouds in the area. We are going to see some snow, though, overnight tonight. It's going to change to some freezing rain tomorrow, just in time for the morning commute. That's not such a positive note. But after that, it's going to change to rain. I don't think it's going to be a huge impact on the morning commute, but definitely some slick spots are possible as we go through tomorrow morning. So again, clouds around for the most part right now, just starting to see some snow out to our west, moving through parts of New York State into Vermont. We will see this through the next several hours start to move into Maine. Farther out, again, you can see plenty of rain off to our south and west, and that's what we'll see once we get into the day tomorrow. So it's going to start as snow, change over to freezing rain and some sleet, and then finally change over to all rain for the day tomorrow. Temperatures certainly cold enough to support snow. 21 right now in Bar Harbor. It's 20 in Bangor, 23 currently in Portland. Temperatures keep dropping. So again, snow will be the start of this event, and then things will change late tonight and early tomorrow morning. So go to about 9 o'clock tonight. You can see most of us starting to see some snow starting to change over already along the immediate coastline as we go through 2 a.m. Snow really covering the entire state by this point, but starting to change over to some sleet and freezing rain in far southern Maine. Then as we get into tomorrow morning, you can see all the pink stuff there. That's the sleet and freezing rain. We'll go through the whole timeline and talk about totals coming up in just a bit, guys.
All right, Jess, sounds good. Thanks so much. Patriots fans are hyped for the Super Bowl, but Philadelphia police expect their fans to totally lose it, and that is why they greased light poles with Crisco. What? Christina Rex has this slippery story next.
And the best coaches can lead the best teams to win, but how much say should parents have when it comes to coaching staffs? We'll break it down later on Now.
Up tonight on 207, from the big screen to a Bangor hospital, find out why R2-D2 and a stormtrooper made their way to EMMC. Plus, you may not recognize the name, but you've seen his movies. Stephen Tobolowsky on 207.
It's Monday, but it's not so gloomy. We are all as happy as smiling Bill Belichick because we got our 87-cent coffees today, and the Patriots are headed to the Super Bowl yet again. After Rob Gronkowski was pulled from the game to be tested for a concussion, Danny Amendola became a New England superhero. Despite his 2 touchdowns and the nickname Mr. Clutch, he was as humble as can be when our March to Minnesota team talked to him after the game.
What is about you in the playoffs? just comes down to making plays, man, and you know, we put in a lot of hard work throughout it every week, so it's great to come out and get a win and then get another shot at the title.
And we all know New England Patriots fans celebrate the best. If you're anything like my family, your reaction to that final Pats touchdown probably went a little something like this. Still trying to teach them to take horizontal video, but anyway, per usual, social media was blowing up with happy Patriots fans. My personal favorite was Happy Belichick, you see right here. The second I saw his reaction, I knew it would be a meme. Mood for the next 2 weeks, #not done. This one's pretty good too from Erin. No great pictures with my husband, but one with my boyfriend. Hopefully her boyfriend's head is all fine 2 weeks from now. And here's a picture of our team at the game, unbiased as always, definitely not rooting for any particular team. And here's my favorite. This adorable little Maine boy is pumped for the win. Hopefully he gets to stay up past his bedtime on February 4th. And as you know by now, Super Bowl 52 will be a 2005 rematch, Eagles versus Patriots, and it looks like Eagles fans might be a little wilder than some of us here in New England. City crews in Philly were calling themselves the Crisco Cops. They greased telephone poles around the city with Crisco to stop fans from climbing the poles, or rather to just make them slide right down. That didn't stop fans from trying, though. If we are lucky, Super Bowl Sunday will hopefully be just as slippery for the Eagles. Lee and Lindsay?
Yeah, I think it's going to be even more lopsided than 13 years ago. But
yeah.
the Eagles fans are crazy, legit crazy. Like you're going to see them actually in a little bit. Later in our show, you will see.
Okay,
We'll call it passion. We'll call it passion instead of crazy. Okay. They're passionate. All right, just how much should parents be involved with their own children's sports teams?
When are we going to hold the parents accountable for their actions?
Coaches say helicopter parents are going too far, but of course it's just not that simple. Accountability in coaching coming up.
Snowy tonight, rainy tomorrow. That's going to be fun for your morning commute. Jess Conley will map it out next.
Parents and their children's coaches. It's not always a harmonious relationship. This is not a new problem by any means, but in today's world of social media, it certainly seems to be a lot more contentious.
But what, if anything, can be done to make things better?
I guess you got to be nuts to coach.
Randy Small coached football at York High School for 28 years. He will not be coming back next season. According to Small, a small group of parents didn't like him, and he says, despite overall widespread support, the lesser was more powerful than the greater. And that's just one of the problems.
You're always going to have complaints. I'm a business owner. If I fired a waitress every time a customer complained, I wouldn't have any waitresses. You know, we back them, we go through a process, we talk to people. The same thing in coaching. That's why I say you have to have strong leadership in an administration that backs you.
Parents have the power.
Jason Jackson is in a similar situation. After 3 years as Deering High School's football coach, he's out. But more than 1,500 people and counting have signed a petition on change.org in support of him.
Had I had 4 or 5 different groups of parents that were like, hey, we've had about enough of Coach Jackson, I could live with that. But the fact that it was just one guy, one family, one lady, I can't buy that brand.
We asked Deering High School for a comment, but they refused, saying they don't discuss personnel issues. Most coaches support a parent being active in their child's life, but they also agree that there has to be a clearly defined line.
I think it's important that they have a relationship, but I think they also got to stay in their lane. There are certain situations where it's like, look, I'm not coming to your job, you know, contesting or being angry on the way that you made this portfolio. I don't know. I'm not going to do that. So you let me coach, and, you know, I'll let you do you.
Coaches say when a complaint is made, resolution is difficult. That person's identity is protected by school administrators, so you don't always know where it's coming from. Conversely, it's also hard for other parents and kids to get the other side of the story if the person filing a complaint is reluctant to speak up publicly. The National High School Coaches Association is working on a guide for fair treatment. In it includes the wording that schools must, quote, disclose the reason for termination in an exit interview with the coach, specifically providing whether termination was based on failure to meet performance standards, fundamental flaws in ability to foster a positive team environment, off-court infractions unrelated to athletics, or an alternative, justifiable basis. In York, a group called Coaches and Kids Matter has been started, and the goal is to help protect the people who choose to coach.
To stop this, first of all, leadership, then to be protected, to be able to have your day in court, so to speak. Because right now, we're on an island by ourselves. It's easier to get rid of most of us than it is to fight for us because we're not protected by the union.
Most parents do things the right way.
Peter Mullen has 2 children playing high school sports and has seen both ends of the spectrum. Parents who take things a little too far, and the other side.
It's certainly frustrating when you have 1 or 2 people that are able to portray us as overactive or too involved or, biased. If things are going well, parents are silent. Parents need to be there to advocate for programs and for coaches as much as there are parents that are advocating against coaches or programs.
Now, just to be clear, there are certainly times when a coach needs to be replaced, and the public doesn't always have all the information that school administrations do have. So it's not quite as simple as any of the things we've always talked about. There's a lot of layers to it, but it's something that certainly needs to be addressed, and looks like it's going to happen not just locally, but nationally as well.
Sure thing, and continue the conversation with us on Facebook. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story.
All right, your Crocs are blowing up the news feed. It's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, sorry. That's okay. I love my comfy shoes.
Comfort is key, right? And we're going to need some, we're going to need the rain gear tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, we are. We're going to see some sleet and freezing rain first, but then, yeah, we all change over to rain by kind of the late morning hours tomorrow. Could be a little bit slick on the morning commute, so get ready to leave some extra time in the morning. You can see all the snow, sleet and freezing rain still off to our west at this point, moving into New York State and into Vermont now. We'll continue to see it make its way closer to us as we go throughout the next several hours. Over the next 3 or 4 hours, we'll really start to see snow move into far southern and western Maine. Right now, most of us just seeing some clouds out there. So let's go through the timeline. This is at around midnight. We'll really start to see the snow overspread the state by then. Accumulation will start as well by the morning commute. Most of us seeing around 1 to 3 inches of snow, but then it quickly changes over to some sleet and freezing rain. Most of this will be some light to locally moderate freezing rain as we go through tomorrow. Again, the morning commute could be a little bit tricky. Not expecting huge impacts, but definitely you are going to want to take it slow out there for tomorrow morning. Then as we get to the late morning and early afternoon hours, it will change over to rain. You can see some moderate to steady rain at times for the day tomorrow. Most of us will see over an inch of rain. The temperatures will be warming up too. We're talking about highs tomorrow in the mid to upper 40s. That sounds great. However, there are concerns for ice jams and ice jam flooding again for the day tomorrow. It's all out of here as we get into tomorrow evening. And again, most of us will stay rain throughout the entire day tomorrow. As far as snowfall accumulation goes, most of us 1 to 3, farther to the north and west, closer to 3 to 6. I think we'll be on the low end of that. But then again, most of us are changing over to rain by tomorrow evening, so these amounts won't really matter. It'll just be a slushy mess. Again, rainfall rates about 1 inch to 1.5 inches for tomorrow. And the wind is going to be another issue, especially as we get into tomorrow afternoon and evening. See those wind gusts at the coast, 35 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts possible, and it looks like it'll stay breezy right into the day on Wednesday. So here's a look at your extended forecast. Again, once we get through tomorrow, things not too bad, clearing and breezy for the day on Wednesday. Temperatures staying pretty comfortable for Wednesday as well. Then Thursday and Friday back into the deep freeze, but just for a couple days. Once we get into next weekend, it's looking pretty good. We'll see high temperatures both Saturday and Sunday, making it back into the 40s, and we're watching for another rainstorm as we get into early next week. But yeah, tomorrow morning, you are going to need just a little extra time to head out the door in the morning.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Appreciate it. Cindy Williams up now to let us know what's coming up at 5:30.
Hi guys. Yeah, people who live along rivers in Maine, many of them have had a really tough month. Well, now officials are worried about even more flooding because of stubborn ice jams. We're going to have a live update from Don Kerrigan. And before they were Olympians, they were just kids like everybody else. Time to embarrass some of the world's best athletes with some baby pictures. Those stories and more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
Very cute, Cindy. All right, thanks so much. Well, you're going to hear it a lot in the next couple of weeks, the Philadelphia Eagles fight song.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to hit the Wayback Machine, and boy, you're going to love this one. When we tried to write a fight song for the Patriots back in 2005.
Well, the Eagles and Patriots played back in Super Bowl 39 in 2005.
Yeah, it was really cool. The game was in Jacksonville, Florida, and I had a chance to go there, and I was looking for the key to the game. And it wasn't about the offense or the defense or the special teams. It was pretty simple fact. The Eagles, they have their own fight song, and the Patriots, they don't.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory.
We don't need one. We just score touchdowns.
Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch those Eagles fly.
How many people does it take to come up with spelling their team name?
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
It's a good thing they're close to Pittsburgh because they can use their crying towels come Monday morning.
I'm finding the problem is that the Eagles have this fight song, and we don't have one. We need a song.
We don't play songs. We just let the experience on the field do the talking.
Here we go. Let's go,
Paige gonna win.
You sure about that?
Paige gonna win.
Do you care?
I hope the Paige win.
Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
The Eagles all the way back.
Here we go, Patriots. Here we go.
It's catchy.
Here we go, Patriots. Here we go.
Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3.
You're not worried about taking on the defending Super Bowl champs and Tom Brady, who has never lost a playoff game ever.
First time for everything. Tom Brady's going down. It's our time. It's destiny. We got the Eagles band with us.
Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly.
After extensive time and research, we have found out that the Patriots do, in fact, have their very own fight song.
No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. Yeah!
Brings a tear to my eye. It was beautiful.
So original. So original.
But it was true. I mean, the Eagles haven't won still a Super Bowl, and the Patriots obviously have won 5. So
Right. Maybe the key is not having a fight song.
Just we are the champions, because it's true.
That's right. All right, well, stick around. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.